It's the ownage, bitches. Today we'll be looking at Cruis'n USA on the Nintendo 64. Cruis'n USA was developed by TV Games Inc. and was sold and manufactured by Midway. It was released in American arcades in 1994. It was later ported by Williams to the Nintendo 64 in 1996. Although the game was supposed to be launched with the Nintendo 64 system in September of '96, the game was pushed back and eventually released just in time for the Christmas holidays. It wasn't until April 1998 that the game saw a European release for the home system. It is also now available on the Wii's Virtual Console. Cruis'n USA is an arcade racer that focuses on driving coast to coast across America, starting in San Francisco, California, and ending up in Washington, D.C. Players have to avoid traffic and score a first-place victory to move forward. There are 4 cars to choose from and 3 secret cars that you can reveal if you press a combination of view buttons. The game features 14 tracks that mimic real American landmarks. All tracks are selectable once unlocked except for the last stage, Washington, D.C., which can only be played if you cruise the USA. The game also features a 2-player mode.
2-player challenge!
Cruis'n USA was the first in a 3-game series, the sequels being Cruising World and later Cruising Exotica. A game with a similar name called Cruising came out for the Wii, but bears no direct relation to the arcade and N64 counterparts. I loved this game when it came out in the arcades when I was a kid. I'd look everywhere for that machine. More often than not, I'd find one and manage to squeeze $1 out of my father in order to play. It's rumored that the arcade version made its operators 20 times the initial cost of the machine. That's some major profit poundage right there. The arcade version also promoted the game's upcoming release on the Nintendo Ultra 64, which was later renamed to just the Nintendo 64.
Coming to your home in 1995, only on Nintendo Ultra 64.
Fast forward 2 years later to the Christmas of 1996. This was a very special year for me, as it would be the Christmas that I received the Nintendo 64 system alongside Super Mario 64 and Cruis'n USA. My 9-year-old body wasn't ready for the type of games that were going to be released in the near future. Cruis'n USA was the first arcade port that I looked forward to owning on a home console. Finally, I could play as much as I wanted without the need of going to an arcade. Sadly, I wasn't prepared for the letdown that was to come next. I noticed many differences right off the bat. First of all, the graphics were terrible. The vehicle handling was off. The music just wasn't the same. And where were the animals that exploded when you drove into them? Thanks, Nintendo. They also changed the ending.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States.
Cruis'n USA! Come on down! love this job. Yeehaw! Come on in the hot tub. Woo-wee! Hey, doggy! Y'all come back now.
Overall, I didn't get the same thrill that I got when I played the arcade version. I actually got one of those V racing wheels to complete the picture that very same Christmas, but putting the wheel between your legs was just awkward and was not the same experience that you got in an arcade. I was initially happy with the game, but looking back on it now, it's just an inferior version of an arcade classic. Another issue I have with the home version is why do you have to place first in order to continue to the next race? In the arcade version, if you didn't get first, you could still move on if you fed the game more money. It's annoying when you have to play the same race over and over again. I'm looking at you, Redwood Forest. The upgrade system sucks. You have to cruise the USA 3 times per car for a total of 21 times to get all the upgrades. They obviously did that in order to stretch the gameplay, but it was painful even for someone like me. The only good thing the console version did right was serve as a temporary replacement until I could play the arcade version again. There was a time when arcades reigned over home consoles and the hottest games could only be found in an arcade. But in the late 90s, the gaming scene started shifting towards the home experience. Consoles started becoming more powerful than arcade technology and offered longer and more story-driven gameplay. This was the demise of arcade gaming. Over the years to follow, I longed to play the arcade version of Cruis'n USA again. The game was becoming so scarce that it could have been years between each time I ran into a machine. You also had to pray that the controls were in working condition, since most arcade games are not cared for anymore. I eventually caved and dropped the $800 to buy the 400-pound nostalgia machine, and I haven't regretted it. Here's a quick look at my sit-down arcade cabinet. That's right, bitches. It's the Cruis'n USA poundish arcade machine, bitches. Big screen 25-inch monitor right here, high quality CRT. They don't make it like that anymore, bitches. Poundish Cruis'n USA sign. Yeah, let's check out the side here. Okay. Midway. Cruis'n USA. Hospan Young. Anyway, I don't know what that is, but anyway, so we open it here while it's on, because that's not dangerous at all, right? And we open that like that. Gotta put it in there. Oh yeah, by the way, check this out, bitches. Loonies only. You like that? That's some Canadian shit right there. The dollars are called loonies, right? Lowrider, Cruis'n, and Sky High. And we got the wheel right there to do the driving. We got the shifter if you want to manual shift. Start button. Just made some noise right there. Okay, so start button.
Welcome to the Hall of Fame.
Now it's time for some trivia. Did you know the creator of Cruis'n USA, Eugene Jarvis, was responsible for arcade hits such as Defender and Robotron? Also, did you know Cruis'n USA does not feature the double gas pedal tap to do a wheelie as seen in the sequels Cruising World and Cruising Exotica? This is a common misconception since the double tap for a wheelie was a signature move of the Cruising series. Did you know the arcade version spots a product placement other than the Nintendo Ultra 64? Yep, there's a Corn Pop cereal advertisement in the first stage Golden Gate Bridge on the first turn. The arcade game came in 3 cabinet configurations: the sit-down deluxe, which is the most common model, the upright, and as well a third special cabinet that featured full motion simulation. This one was pretty rare. Even I have never seen one of them in person before.
What you are now looking at is the most advanced sensory experience ever developed for an arcade. This machine is called the Cruis'n USA Full Motion Simulator. Much more than a game, it is a full motion, 3,800 mile, 14 race, 11 state, coast-to-coast virtual experience. 3 years in development, Cruis'n USA is an unparalleled video achievement. It's the first machine to so perfectly synthesize creativity and technical advance.
In conclusion, I recommend that you skip the Nintendo 64 version and play it on real arcade hardware if you're lucky enough to find one in working condition. The sequel Cruising World received a much better port to the Nintendo 64 system from Eurocom. In my own opinion, the Nintendo 64 version of Cruising World surpasses the arcade version, but we will get to that in another video. Those are just my thoughts on Cruis'n USA for the Nintendo 64. Please like and subscribe if you're interested in seeing more videos like this one.
But the backbone of the game appears in front of you on this 25-inch monitor. Your window on a brand new, three-dimensional, texture map, high-resolution, virtual world. This is a brand new video system called Ultra Graphics, and it's unequaled in terms of reality and resolution. Cruis'n USA is also available a couple of other ways. The deluxe sit-down model and the brand new upright. These machines offer the same high-energy cruising excitement in an elegant, compact design. And that's not all. One more soon-to-be-released innovation will make your cruising collection complete. Full linking capability. Not only will players be able to cruise the USA, but they'll soon be able to compete from coast to coast. You don't need a license, and you don't need to borrow the keys. Just hop in and prepare yourself for the joyride of a lifetime. Cruis'n USA, the most advanced sensory experience ever developed for an arcade.